I want you to picture Antarctica, and I know exactly what you're picturing. White, endless, brutal, blinding white. Ice sheets stretching further than the eye can see, temperatures that would kill you in minutes, winds so violent they have their own special category of awful. It is, by just about every measure, the most hostile landmass on the planet. And yet, buried underneath all of that ice, locked away in the ancient rock below, is evidence of something so completely contradictory to everything you just imagined that it almost feels like a mistake. Fossilized trees, fossilized pollen, the remains of ferns, of forests, of creatures that could only have existed in a warm, green, genuinely lush landscape. Because Antarctica was not always the frozen tomb it is today. There was a time, not just once, but several times across deep history, when it was arguably one of the most beautiful places on the entire planet. The most dramatic version of this story takes us back roughly 50 million years ago, during a period called the Eocene. At this point in Earth's history, the world was running significantly hotter than today, operating under what geologists call a greenhouse climate, with atmospheric CO2 levels far above anything we see now, and polar ice essentially non-existent. And Antarctica, which had already drifted to roughly the position it occupies today, was nonetheless covered not in ice, but in dense, temperate rainforest. We know this not from guesswork, but from actual physical evidence. Fossilized beech tree trunks, fossilized palm fronds, even the preserved remains of giant spiders, enormous insects, and ancestral relatives of creatures that today only live in warm tropical environments. Found on a continent that is now the coldest place on Earth. The contrast is almost violent, and what this forest actually looked like would have been stunning. Picture something resembling the temperate rainforests of modern New Zealand or southern Chile, thick canopies of southern beech trees, dense undergrowth, river systems cutting through soft green valleys, all of it sitting at the bottom of the world under a polar sky. Because here's the strange part, even in the warm Eocene, Antarctica still experienced polar nights, months of total darkness in winter and months of continuous sunlight in summer. So this was not a tropical paradise. It was something stranger and arguably more remarkable. A polar forest adapted to live in permanent seasonal darkness for months at a time, somehow thriving anyway. So what killed it? What flipped Antarctica from that green forested world into the ice-locked wasteland it is today? And the answer comes down to one of the most consequential geological events of the last 100 million years. The opening of the Drake Passage. As the tectonic plates shifted and South America finally separated from Antarctica around 34 million years ago, a gap opened between them. And through that gap, the ocean began to flow. And once it did, it established what we now call the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, a powerful rotating system of ocean water that essentially wrapped Antarctica in a cold, isolated ring, cutting it off from the warm tropical currents that had previously kept it temperate. The continent was thermally quarantined. Temperatures dropped. Snow began to accumulate faster than it could melt. Ice sheets formed. The forests retreated, then vanished entirely. And within a few million years, the green Antarctica was gone, replaced by the frozen world that has persisted right up to the moment you're watching this. And the reason that story matters isn't just because it's beautiful and strange, though it absolutely is both of those things. It matters because it's a reminder of just how dramatically this planet is capable of changing, and how quickly, in geological terms, an entire world can be transformed beyond recognition. Antarctica didn't need an asteroid. It didn't need a supervolcano. All it took was a gap in the rock, a shift in the ocean, and the slow, cold logic of planetary physics to turn a rainforest into a graveyard of ice. And somewhere under 2 miles of glacier, the fossils of those ancient trees are still down there, waiting. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time,